I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm here live from the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Over the weekend, President Trump tweeted that he believes that the market would crash if he wasn't reelected. And Jim, do you believe that?
No, if Biden were elected, the market would probably go higher. I say that because a lot of people feel that you want to get something done. This market's been treading water. If Biden were elected, now look, I'm not saying I'm for or against Biden. I'm just saying when it comes to the stock market right now, there would be such a relief. We have a lot of tension in the market. I think the economy is very strong. I've made no secret that I like the president's economic policies very much. But I think that when you say that the market's going to crash, if you have one of those Democrats who's more of a socialist, then you'd be right. But when you look at the polls, I know that this is a Fox News poll, which I thought the president would take seriously. It does show that Biden ahead. Biden is regarded as a moderate, and I think moderates move the stock market up. I think the president's doing what's right against China, but that is going to start costing. I think that there are some companies that are very linked to China. I don't know how we ever let China be so integral to our supply chain. Just terrible for the ones that are national security interests. But the rest of it, I don't know. I mean, that's just the pain we're going to have to take. So I think that people feel that Biden would settle it. I don't want this about trade. I want this about U.S. hegemony and the idea that the Chinese have lied and stolen a lot of intellectual property. I don't know where Biden is on that. But Biden is not for single payer, which is what would cause things to crash. Biden is not for a wholesale change in corporate structure. Biden is much more like Trump. By the way, Nancy Pelosi is more like Trump. But the president is right. If a socialist wins, the market would crash. He's right. He should be a little more discerning about who would make the market crash and who wouldn't.
Now, the market, in response to Trump's tweets, has either stayed flat or gone higher, which is kind of interesting. So do you think that Trump is losing?
It is interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people just feel there's going to be a deal, Then a lot of other people say the Fed's going to cut, Fed's going to cut. I personally feel that if the Fed says they're going to monitor, I have a piece in Real Money this morning about that. If the Fed says they're going to monitor, that's the win. That's what you want. You want a Fed to be vigilant. You want all those buzzwords. But that I see a lot of companies going up that are Chinese companies, Boeing, but then you say, well, maybe Boeing's going up because the MAX is going to come back. Caterpillar, but maybe you think Caterpillar's going up because interest rates have gone down. I mean, the cross currents, trying to interpret what the market's doing from looking at the market has not been very valuable. But I do think there's just been so many cross currents. But I do think that we are at a moment where people are interpreting news as positive that might otherwise be negative.
And we're going to be talking more about your Real Money piece over on our Action Alerts Plus Daily Rundown show right after this video. But Jim, the tweeter-in-chief, is he losing his Twitter power?
No, I think that in the end, if he attacks you, you will get hurt. He's launching his campaign. Well, it's been his campaign. It's been on the whole time, but launching his campaign, he's on ABC. He's saying a lot of stuff that I think the media thinks is really important that the public doesn't. I mean, something about Russia. Like Russia's good. If Russia gave you info, would you use it? I mean, the Russia thing is just a loser. That's like the media keeps focusing on it. And I guess maybe they think that's impeachment stuff, but Mueller didn't give them that. What the media should be focused on is whether the tariffs are good for America or not good. And you could argue that they're not good because the consumer is going to have to pay more, or you could argue that they're good because they'll bring back a lot of the businesses that a long time ago left us. There are always going to be apparel people who say, listen, there's nobody who uses seamstress anymore. I get that, but you could always bring it back with machines. The thing that people have to be careful of, the media, is that a lot of the stuff that is made in China ends up in our landfills. It's not like the stuff is necessarily critical. So there are people who think that we can handle any amount of, as Wilbur Ross said, the tariffs, they mean nothing. The president's happy to continue to put them on. Wilbur does not go as far as to say that the Chinese pay for the tariffs. That the president says that.
Let's switch gears. Let's talk about Boeing, which you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, CEO Dennis Muilenburg at the Paris...
Very good.
Yeah.
He was very strong today. Muilenburg is now doing what I had wished they had done a long time ago, which is to say we made a lot of mistakes, but it's coming back. I am very optimistic about Boeing. now. I think the MAX is going to come back. I think that they're going to solve whatever safety issues. I've talked to a number of pilots who have said, look, it was this addition that they didn't use anyway that was confusing people. They'll fix the confusion. And that I think that people are going to start buying the stock, and you'll see it already, of Southwest. So if you believe, like I do, that this thing's going to come back to life very quickly, much more quickly than end of year, then you should buy Southwest Air, symbol LUV. That's
Now,
a trading call.
Just to clarify, Muhlenberg made these.
Thank you, Matt Horween, for that trading call idea.
Just to clarify, Muhlenberg made these comments saying that Boeing had made a mistake over at the Paris Air Show over the weekend.
Right.
But Jim, you just said that you feel confident that the 737 is going to come back, that you
Yes,
talked to
the
pilots.
MAX, absolutely.
But NBC and Wall Street Journal just surveyed 1,000 Americans who say that they don't want to fly the 737 MAX.
Well, if you want to go somewhere with Southwest, I mean, maybe you can go somewhere else and say, listen, I don't want to fly Southwest, but the key thing is that once they get the international organizations, then to agree, all the international FAAs, then what's going to happen is you're not going to have as much choice as you think. You may call your travel agent, which most people don't do anymore, they book online, and say, I want to know if that's a Boeing 737. I know this sounds really ridiculous, but in the end, you'll be kind of bored with doing that. They'll say, okay, listen, I just want to fly it. There's not a lot of choice. Oh, I'll put me on it. It was never that bad. I mean, this is what American public's very forgiving. Would I fly one? Absolutely.
There we go. All right, so Jim, I want to talk to you about Facebook, which is our real money stock of the day. Now,
Yes.
I want to get into.
Good, that's a stock of the day. I know.
I want to get more into the details over on our Action Alerts Plus Daily Rundown show because I know that's a holding in your portfolio.
Yes.
But I do want to ask, ahead of this cryptocurrency launch, which happens tomorrow, would you buy their crypto?
It's not really a crypto. It is not a source of value, which I was hoping it would be, but it can't be. It's really like Venmo. It is a way for the unbanked who are in a cash world to skip over the card and go right to the digital. It will be very separate from Facebook. You won't think of it as a Facebook product because Facebook knows that Facebook itself is tainted. It'll be called Libra. And it's really good for the 48%. Thank you, Lisa Ellis from MoffettNathanson on this. It's very good for the people who literally do not have a viable currency. Remember, there are many countries where the currency is not really viable. It is just an infection. And these people can avoid their own currency and do some buying in a sterilized fashion. So it's brilliant at Facebook, and Facebook's going to go much higher.
You said that on the Mad Dash, which I'm really curious
because,
to get more details.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that people are not understanding how valuable this could be, but also they may not understand how effective it will be in terms of PR.
So guys, for more coverage on Facebook and their crypto push, go over to realmoney.com, where Kevin Curran and all of our great contributors are going to be covering it wall to wall. All right, thank you, Jim, for joining us. That's all the time that we have for today. For all of you watching on TheStreet.com or on Facebook, we are now jumping over to our Action Alerts Plus members-only club video on actionalertsplus.com. I'm Catherine Ross, and I'll see you tomorrow.